journalist Mohamed Fahmy released on bail after being held in an Egyptian prison for over a year. A ceasefire is set to begin on Sunday in Ukraine following 16 hours of peace talks with the leaders of Russia, Ukraine, Germany, and France. And a world-famous choir comes to Humber to celebrate Black History Month. Hi, and welcome to Humber News. I'm Trisha Chan, coming to you from our newsroom here at Humber College North Campus. Canadian journalist Mohamed Fahmy has been released on bail in Egypt 10 days after his Australian colleague was deported. The courtroom broke out in applause as the judge freed Fahmy on over $40,000 bail. He was sentenced to 7 years in jail on charges of helping a terrorist organization while reporting for Al Jazeera. His Egyptian producer was sentenced to 10 years on the same charges. Egyptian authorities accuse Al Jazeera and its staff of being a mouthpiece for the Muslim Brotherhood. Fahmy's fiancée expressed gratitude towards the Egyptian court.
I would like to thank my country that I love for doing the right thing. I'm very happy. And it's time for me and for Mohamed to be relaxed.
Fahmy had joint Canadian-Egyptian nationality until he recently renounced his Egyptian status in hopes of getting deported back home. There is an agreement to end fighting in eastern Ukraine starting midnight Sunday. The leaders of Ukraine, Russia, France, and Germany agreed on a ceasefire after all-night negotiations. Ukraine's president says he didn't give in to ultimatums to surrender, but instead negotiated an unconditional ceasefire. Russian President Vladimir Putin says the leaders agreed to remove heavy weapons from lines of confrontation. The Chancellor of Germany says Putin pressured Ukrainian rebels to agree to the ceasefire. The President of France says there is now real hope for Ukraine. The captain of the Costa Concordia cruise ship has been sentenced to 16 years in prison for manslaughter. Captain Francesco Schutino became known as Captain Coward for his role in the death of 32 passengers in 2010. The court found him guilty of abandoning ship when passengers and crews were still on board. He crashed the ship into a rocky reef and then jumped into a lifeboat while hundreds were still on board. Survivors say they did not receive emergency drills before their Mediterranean cruise. Here at Humber, unconfirmed reports say a security guard was found dead on campus this morning. Police cruisers were parked in front of D building early this morning and stayed there for a few hours. Police would not say why they were there, but campus security told Humber News that an incident has occurred. Calls to the campus security office have not yet been returned. We'll keep you posted on any further developments as they become available. Meanwhile, downtown, it may be a whole new regime, but Toronto City Council is still rife with tension, and the main perpetrator is still Rob Ford.
What am I retracting?
Comments that you made.
What did I'm retracting?
He deliberately
Not asking
misled.
Kirk, not John to tell you.
No, I'm not asking. You're asking me that the staff.
Ford was kicked out of council yesterday after refusing to retract comments he made about city staff. The speaker asked Ford more than once to apologize for his comments, but he refused, so he was asked to leave several times. The controversy arose over a $20,000 expense concerning a trip to Italy by city staff. To Taiwan now, where 6 prisoners committed suicide during a standoff Thursday morning. The standoff lasted almost 14 hours after prisoners took staff members hostage. Officials say the heavily armed prisoners shot themselves before police took action. The prison warden and head guard were among the hostages rescued. Over 250 heavily armed officers were deployed, including riot police, SWAT teams, and a marine assault squad. A former Korean Air executive is going to be spending the next year in jail, all over a bag of nuts. She ordered that the plane she was on to turn around and go back home because she was served macadamia nuts in a bag rather than a dish. A South Korean court sentenced Cho to 1 year in prison after finding her guilty of violating aviation safety laws. She's resigned as vice president of Korean Air and says she's truly sorry. Some dramatic pictures today out of northern Spain after an explosion at a chemical plant. 3 3 people were injured, and authorities warned residents to stay inside after the accident released chemicals that turned the sky orange. A few hours later, the order was lifted, though children, the elderly, and pregnant women were advised to stay indoors. One of the chemicals was nitric acid. The chemical company has not commented on the explosion. Even further across the world, residents saw a different color in the sky. A meteor burst in the sky over New Zealand Wednesday night, lighting up most of the country with blue and white light. A man on his way to the gym caught the explosion with his dash cam. Eye and ear witness reports say the light was blinding and heard a low rumbling after the flash. When we come back, we'll tell you what's happening in the world of sports, and Kendra Hamilton will have your 3-day forecast.
Thanks, Tricia. Well, bundle up if you are heading outside today. We're looking at a measly high of just minus 12 degrees with chances of snow clearing into the afternoon. We'll have more in your full 3-day forecast after the break.
Minus 12. Are you sick of the weather here in Toronto? Maybe you should head to Germany. These guys look like they're having more fun with winter than we are. It's Carnival season, and the fun kicked off with this annual street festival. Carnival goers enjoy a glass or 2 of local beer, some crazy costumes, and probably more beer. Carnival stems from Christians ushering in the fasting period before Easter. And before we head to break, love is in the air here at Humber, and students are lining up to buy sweet treats for their sweethearts. We get the story from Hannah Hollingsworth.
Baskets of chocolates, candies, and plush toys were on sale in the concourse. The Valentines Sale attracted lots of ladies and a few men, all looking to get something for that someone special. For all you last-minute shoppers out there, no need to worry. The sale goes on until Friday afternoon. Hannah Hollingsworth, Humber News.
Thanks, Hannah. We'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us.